This is Boxing Tickets NA in association with Violent Gentlemen. We're glad to say we're joined with Cian Doyle. Hi, are you, mate?
Oh, I'm good. How are you, Stephen? How are you keeping?
On a bit of a come down, as I think we always are.
The week after.
probably for a bit like yourself. You've just made your pro debut last week. You probably are like, right, when are we going again? You know that.
Yeah,
that
exactly. That's exactly what I'm like. Yeah.
The buzz and adrenaline.
The buzz is kind of dying. Yeah.
Get me back in the gym. I want to fight. Who can we fight next?
Exactly.
You know, can I fight tomorrow? Can I fight today?
Yeah.
You know, itchy knuckle syndrome.
Exactly how I'm feeling.
and I guess obviously you've been a big football fan as well. It's international weekend this week, so
we're not
going to see
all week for me.
We're not going to see on Instagram some are going the United away game or anything like that.
No, probably Leicester away be my next one, hopefully.
And so what will this weekend be with no football? Then just relaxing and taking it easy.
Just chill out. We've training session today and tomorrow, and then just chill out after that. So yeah, not much to be honest. Probably go for a bit of food tomorrow with my girlfriend or something like that. But quiet weekend. Definitely. Last weekend was a bit mad, so this one's a quiet one.
Definitely, and obviously when you come out of a fight camp and stuff like that as well, it's enjoying the wee finer things in life like pizzas, curries, burgers.
Exactly, yeah, you need to enjoy yourself. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So for anybody we sort of bring on for the first time, we obviously like to know a bit of the backstory because, you know, it's all well and good you're now a pro boxer, but sometimes people don't know the backstory and everything else. So what age did you start boxing and why?
We started boxing when I was about, I think I was about 11. I was just done it just for something to do, like just to kind of keep fit and stuff. I was playing a bit of football and all at the time, and then about 2 or 3 months, I think I started, and then I found that it was all right. Like, so I think they threw me into the Dublins and stuff like that, and I won them. And I think I was only boxing about 4 or 5 months, and I think I got to the semis of the All Irelands in my first year. So I was all right. Like, I found that I was all right at boxing. So I think I was about 11. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, it's like anything nowadays. You know, sometimes there could be a particular reason. You know, something that runs in the family or you know, friends.
Yeah,
and
no,
like
my dad's mad into boxing, but he actually never boxed, but he loves boxing. Like he's always been watching it and stuff, and he loved it his whole life, but he actually never got into it. But it was mad because my little brother was actually the one who got me into boxing, because he started when he's 3 years younger than me, but he started a few months, and I seen him in I went to watch him a few times in club shows and stuff like that, and I said, "Geez, I want to do a bit of that," like, and that's what got me into it.
Were you scared of the younger brother then, probably be able to beat you up? So you had to
I
learn
didn't want that
yourself.
as well. Yeah, I didn't want that either.
And is your younger brother still boxing, or did he go away from the boxing?
No, he does the MMA now, so he's in that. But he's big lad, like he's about 6 foot, and he's a good 80-something kilos. But he's into the MMA now.
Definitely, you'll not be fighting him now if he's
definitely won't be fighting him. Definitely not.
he knows the dirty tactics, obviously choking out and elbows and things like that. You know, punches are your limit for that. You know, it's like if we're going to fight,
good standing up with him.
Punches only. You know, no taking him to the ground. And obviously starting out boxing, you know, I guess as a young lad growing up in Dublin as well. Did obviously you find with boxing that it may have, like, people get to like 13 and 14 and start drinking and girls and everything else.
How
did you find sort of getting in the teenage years in boxing?
Kept me disciplined 100%. Definitely kept me disciplined. Like I don't drink or anything like that. So it did keep me very disciplined, and it got me into a good routine. Like, I love being in a good routine and training every day and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? So it definitely done brilliant for me. Like, it got me into good little routines, and it got me just very disciplined. Like, so that's what I love about boxing.
And we were speaking to obviously one of your former amateur opponents the other day, Colin Murphy.
Colin's very nice.
But bit of a madman.
He's a very nice fella. All them up there, Dee and Owen and all the lads that sound up there.
He was sort of saying in his amateur days, you know, I guess in his amateur days, he was sort of obviously, as you know from fighting and stuff as well, he used to use his face to block punches. He loved the war.
Yeah,
And obviously now that
Can't
he's
really
turned,
do that now at 8 ounces.
yeah, and I think he was
Yeah,
saying that now obviously he's now a pro boxer. He's sort of having to
yeah,
adapt and sort of stand on the back foot a bit more, not stand for a
yeah,
war.
yeah,
How have you
yeah.
found, obviously, during your time as an amateur boxer, how have you found your style, and obviously things like that
Mm.
have changed? You know, have you ever changed much in your boxing? You know, is it sort of, you know, after defeat,
I
you
kind
know?
of am more of a, I'm more like I'm a go forward fighter. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I kind of base myself on having a good engine, throwing loads of shots, stuff like that. But obviously, when you realise in the pro game, you have to be a lot more tighter because everyone can bang with 8 ounce gloves. You're fighting men, like you're fighting for big, like ground men, and you do have to be a lot of tighter and not like slow the pace down, but like be more like kind of deliberate with shots. Don't be just throwing them for the sake of it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So more stuff like that, and obviously being a lot more tighter, like with my guard and stuff, and like working on different things after throwing, rolling, and moving, and changing angles and stuff like that.
And what sort of amateur accomplishments did you have? Obviously, you said in your first year, you sort of, was it Dublin?
Yeah, I
Obviously,
won the Dublins in my first. I think I won four national titles, and I got beaten in the finals a few times. I think, and then I won a good few box cups and stuff like that. So I had
mhm.
a half decent amateur background. Like,
The box cups seem to be a good sort of development. Sort of sometimes, you know, I've seen more recently is it the Harrington Box Cup in England? People have
oh
obviously
yeah,
went
yeah, yeah,
there. It's nearly like you might remember the old World Boxing Series that was like a
yeah,
crossover from
yeah. It's
amateur
class.
to pros, and it
Yeah,
seems to be
yeah,
the
yeah.
box cups seem to be a good tester to see if you're ready to go pro.
Exactly. It's good. It's, if you get a good feel out of it, you know what I mean, and you get to see where you're at, what kind of level you're at, and obviously some good countries and some good lads do come over to them box cups, and if you're holding your own, you're doing well against them and beating a few of them, then you kind of know you're at a half decent levels. You know what I mean? You get to see what the level is like outside of Ireland. You know what I mean?
Hmm. And particularly, obviously, because not everybody has the luxury of getting the high performance unit, and obviously getting
Yeah,
the big major sort of amateur tournaments as well. So the box cups obviously help
exactly.
people
Yeah,
that can't get
definitely.
onto them teams to sort of implement their style. They say, you know what, I'm actually half decent at this game.
Yeah, exactly. They're very good. They're very good.
You know, but I guess as amateur boxers probably told us, you know, probably in the last few years, it doesn't matter what you do as an amateur. It's probably more finding your feet. It's like learning how to
It's like
ride a
an
bike.
apprenticeship or something
Yeah.
like that. Like you're just learning your trade, kind of, isn't it? And well, I think the amateurs like it does stand you a lot if you're going into the pro game with a half decent amateur background, just
Mm.
because takes the nerves away and stuff like that. Because you know you're already at the, being in big fights and stuff like that, and you know you're at that being boxing at a good level. You know what I mean?
And obviously your last amateur bout outing, I think, was in 2019, probably before the
Yeah.
pandemic. Did the sort of pandemic sort of force your hand into the turning pro, or where did the sort of thoughts of turning pro come from?
Yeah, well, I wasn't really thinking much into it until like when the COVID was on and all. I didn't know whether I was going to box again or stuff like I didn't know if I was going to box again. So, kind of in the lockdown, I took a little break from training for a while. I was still doing my own bit of training, but just not really boxing because I didn't know what the story was like. I didn't know whether I was going to be boxing or not. And then, a few months later, I went back training when the lockdown was still on, and we said, listen, I'm gonna give it a go. Why not? Like, you don't know what's gonna happen. Like, so why not give it a go?
Exactly, it's one of them things. I guess, you know, I know in the south it's been probably at the start of lockdown it's very tough because you couldn't go
Yeah,
anywhere. You know, you couldn't do anything.
no, there's
You were
nothing to
so
do.
far
Yeah,
behind. You were probably in the 1980s at stages. You're going.
yeah,
From
exactly. Like it
Belfast, you
was
can do
Groundhog
this,
Day.
you know.
Yeah, it
Um,
was
but
Groundhog
but
Day.
like, so was it sort of then, you know, seeing other people in the stable and things like that? It was sort of who was it sort of
Yeah,
was.
definitely. I think I was seeing the lads like Bookie and Jake and Willow and Martin and stuff like that. I was training with them every day, like in the mornings, and was seeing them and they were doing well and stuff like that, and I kind of said, "Oh, listen, and they were saying to me, they kept saying, why don't you not turn over and give it a go, Ken?" Like, so I said, why not? Like,
exactly, and like the Crumlin stable, you know, I know Phil Sutcliffe obviously is a legend in his own right in the sport and stuff as well, but like the Crumlin stable, there used to be obviously a bigger stable that sort of went away and sort of come back again.
yeah,
But obviously you look at the talent, you know, and you've named some of them already. How has it been obviously mixing with the other lads? Sort of, I know Willow just made his debut,
yeah,
in August, obviously over in Birmingham.
yeah.
Obviously, how has it been with sort of people different styles? Because I would probably say Jake's probably one of the most experienced in the gym and
Yeah,
box.
he is, and he gives a great little tips and advice and stuff like that, because he's a proud, I'd say, about 7 or 8 years now, I think he is.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows he knows a good bit about the program, stuff you wouldn't think of and stuff like that. So Jake's been great. All the lads have been great, like, in giving you tips and telling you the ins and outs of the programs and like what they expect.
And I know, particularly obviously with Jake, he took a few years out, obviously as well, so he
Yeah,
knows sort of what it's like to be boxing, be out of boxing. I actually seen
yeah,
him obviously
exactly.
after Robbie got beat last Saturday night. I seen him obviously giving them words of encouragement, obviously with Phil, and you're sort of going,
Yeah,
that's the sort of people you need in a stable. You know, they're
yeah.
there to pick you up when you're feeling
Yeah,
down and everything else.
exactly. Well, more than just club mate, like we're all mates as well. We're a good group, like, you know what I mean. Like, we trying to get out, but we're more than just club mates. We're all mates, like, as well. So it's good to have that. And
Definitely is. And obviously, I seen you obviously putting a post out to Andy O'Neill for obviously doing your raps for you for the fight.
yeah, Andy
Does
done me
everybody
raps.
hide
He
from
done
Andy when he goes into the gym, do they?
no, Andy actually done them. I got off work for a half an hour, and he done them in advance for me. So fair play to Andy. Thanks very much. He's a mad
He's,
fella, but
he's
he
definitely a
done deadly
legend.
job on my hands.
I,
Yeah,
I
he's a
seen him.
legend.
I seen him actually over in Birmingham. And obviously I know Andy would be fond of a nice wee whiskey every now and again.
Yeah,
And I said if I speak to Andy for too long, he's going to
you'll
say, "Come
end
on,
up
we'll go
having
for
a
a
few
pint."
with him.
And
Yeah,
the
yeah,
next thing you know, it's Monday. So
yeah, exactly.
I think I'd seen him and spoke to him for a moment before him and Willow left for the arena.
Yeah.
And he said, "What's going on? You not speaking to me? Is it because I'm ginger and things like that?" And I was going, he knows rightly. If you spend too much time in his
Yeah,
company, he has you in the pub, you know.
yeah, bad influence.
But what a great guy they obviously have around the gym, because Andy's
Yeah,
not only an experienced cuts man, he knows boxing inside out. So if there's anything he
inside
can
out.
do for you, he'll be the one that's doing it.
Yeah, he's very good, and as you said, he knows boxing inside out. So he's a great person to talk to as well. Like, and yeah, he does. He's sound as well. You can have a bit of laugh with him as well. He's bang on. He's 100%.
And how's it been obviously training under Phil? How long have you trained with Phil for? You
Oh,
probably with Phil you probably more classify him as like a mate rather than a coach. You know, he's that sort of bond with his fighters.
yeah, he's just brilliant. He's my only ever coach. I've only ever boxing from him, but he's brilliant. Like, honestly, I just think he's class. And then you can talk to him about anything as well. It's outside boxing as well. Like, as you said, like a mate. Like, he's just brilliant all around. Like, and his training sessions and everything just class. He's so experienced. Like, he's been around boxing, what, 50 years or something like that. So
And he's only
he knows
45.
he knows everything about boxing. Like, there's nothing he doesn't know about boxing.
Definitely, as I say, he's been in boxing for 50 years and he's only 45 years of age. We have to throw him a compliment in
Yeah.
somewhere. But obviously on your debut last weekend, you fought obviously a tough journeyman in Luke Fash. I think it was his 70th pro
Yeah,
fight. Um,
yeah.
what was your thoughts on your performance last Saturday?
I was happy enough with my performance. I'm always like critical of myself no matter what, but overall, like, I was happy enough for how I done. I was happy enough. Like, I thought I done the basics right. Kind of controlled everything off the jab at my own pace and found my range early. Like, so I was happy enough for how I done. I could have, obviously, there's always room for improvement. You know what I mean? And there's loads of stuff still to work on.
It's one of them things sometimes, particularly when you make your debut, you see the red mist and you sort of land the punch, and
Yeah,
then the next thing you go, it's throwing a barrage, and then you're like, Where's my gas? Where's my gas tank?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm empty.
Yeah, and there's 3 more rounds left then, like, or 4 rounds left, whatever, like, so. Yeah, I was happy. Like, I didn't think I rushed in with many shots, and I kind of just tried to control the fight from my pace from the start, and I kind of did that. So I was happy enough. I could have done a lot better, but I was happy enough with how I done.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess sometimes as long as you do the basics right, you know, everything else is going to be
Exactly,
coming.
everything falls into place. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. That's how boxing obviously starts for anybody.
Yeah.
Do you think being a wee bit older at 26 probably would make you a bit more mature in boxing? You know, you probably, if you think if you made your debut say at 22, you're probably a bit more immature and sort of. Have you?
I'm only 20.
Are you only 20? I thought you were 26.
Yeah, I'm only 20, mate. No. I'm
adding 6 years on.
You're putting years on me. You're putting years on me.
I don't know where I put that.
No, I'm only.
I don't know where I put that down from. I had you at 26. There we are. You're lucky you didn't fall for that one then.
Yeah, I hope I don't look 26, do I?
I could maybe get away with saying yes today, but not last week.
Yeah.
But I think I was saying the column and things like that on Wednesday, like I probably haven't seen someone making their debut and probably so ripped as you were for your debut last week. You know, like you could have probably ironed your clothes on your chest. You know, you definitely went to the effort to make sure that you were ready for the pictures.
Yeah. I always try to stay in good shape, but I don't really like. I have meal. I get I'm sponsored by a meal prep company, gym nutrition, they're called Charles Dunn, and he weighs me food out to perfection and has everything down to a T. So, and I didn't have to do any weight cut for this fight, so it was grand. I made it a bit more enjoyable. I think I weighed in at 57.4. I only walk around at 59, if even, like, so. I'm just feeling good and training good, and like that's probably why I look like that. Like, I'm just eating the right foods and putting the right stuff into my body and trying very hard, like.
And obviously reaping the benefits of it as well. Like
yeah, exactly.
Like there was me thinking you were 26 and you're only 20. So you're still relatively a baby sort of in this sport.
Yeah.
It's obviously the plan with Phil and obviously Boxing Ireland to get you fighting as regularly as possible.
Yeah, I just want to keep as busy as I can especially at the start. Like I just want to keep as busy. I'm always training. Like I went back training Monday. I felt fresh and ready to go, and I was even more hungry after that fight. Like I want to get back in there as soon as I can. I'm always ready. So
I know there's a potential of a talk. Well, I think obviously if it's to be announced this week, maybe it could still be announced this week, but obviously there's a potential of Celtic Class 13 in Dublin in November. I'm sure you'll obviously be on the Leonard and Stephen and Dennis and hoping to get onto that card.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get on to it, definitely. And it's only up the road, like 10 minutes up the road for me. So it'd be deadly if I got on that. And it'd be perfect to get two wins, hopefully, before the end of the year. And going into the new year, it'd be great to be 2-0. But I definitely want to get out before Christmas.
It definitely is. And it's one of them things sometimes that the more you stay active, the more you can sort of learn the trade of pro boxing as well. You know, you're either in the gym or you're in the ring. You know, that's the sort of way it is. Yeah. And what weight class are you hoping to campaign at moving forward?
Yeah, either featherweight or super bantamweight. So as I said, I only walk around at 59 kilos. So I'd easily make super bantamweight. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'd easily make super bantamweight. So whatever weight, like I feel strong and comfortable at featherweight. But if anything did happen to come about at super bantam, I'd take it definitely. But probably feather or super bantam. I'm still only growing, so I'm not going to stop myself from growing or anything like that. So I'll just see how it goes over the years. Like, as I'm only 20, so I'm just going to see how it goes. But between them two weights, I'd say.
It sometimes depends on the opponents, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
We've actually a boxer from Belfast, Kieran McVarnick, just retired there a few months back. And most of his fights weren't at his fighting weight. You know, he was always fighting at lightweight when he was a featherweight. He never really got to fight his true fighting weight. So people really didn't see the best out of him because he couldn't fight at his own weight class.
He was fighting heavier people all the time. Yeah. So I feel comfortable at 50. Like, I boxed at 57 for a bit in the amateurs, and I felt comfortable. So either 57 or 55, whatever. If any fights came at 55, I'd easily take them because I don't walk around too heavy or anything like that. So I'd be always ready. Do you know what I mean?
And obviously probably looking at probably potential opponents you could sort of have. There's two obviously in Belfast around the same weight, and Michael Core and Ruan Farrell. I think Kelvin McDonald's maybe somewhere around that weight as well. Boxing Ireland, like they sort of do in house fights, you're obviously not going to go looking for one too soon, but it's good to have other people to keep an eye on.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Like, I'm just obviously I'm only starting out, so I wouldn't be going like looking for fights straight away. But like, if any fights came available, I'd gladly take them. Like, but like the likes of fair play to like Borky and Jamie Morrissey taking that fight, like that was a win-win. Them type of fights are win-wins, because even if you do lose, your stock rises. Do you know what I mean? And you're after taking a domestic 50-50 fight. Do you know what I mean? So definitely, yeah. But just looking to get a few more wins, kind of ease my way into the programs. You know what I mean? And then after 3 or 4 fights, then hopefully start looking for domestic fights if everything goes well.
Definitely. And how did the signing come about with Boxing Ireland? And was it sort of, I think the gym's relatively local to Stephen Sharp. Yeah. So was he sort of praying at the door, sort of looking to see some of the boxing gloves going, I'm signing you. How did that come about?
Kind of, the lads were saying to me for a while, like the likes of Borky and Jake and Martin and stuff like that, why don't you not jump on board? And he said, the lads would join you, and Steve was being in the gym a good bit, so I got chatting to him one of the days about it, and then I was chatting to him over in Alicante as well about it, and he said to come over in Alicante, watch this show, see what you think of it, get a feel for it. And as soon as I seen the show, it was like, yeah, that's for me. I definitely want to turn over and give it a go, because I'm only young, like I've nothing to lose.
Exactly. And have you sort of set yourself any goals or plans over the next 12 to 24 months? Just get as many fights as possible?
Yeah, just get as many fights as possible. Hopefully keep as busy as I can. As I said, I'm always training and I'm always in shape and ready to go whenever the lads ring me, or whenever, if there's any short notice fights or anything, I'll take them like a light, because I'm always ready and I'm always fit. So hopefully just get as many fights as I can, get as many wins as I can, and then maybe after year and a half, 2 years, if everything goes well and I pick up a few wins, probably then start looking at stuff like Celtic and Irish titles and stuff like that.
Yep, definitely a good way to go. And obviously Boxing Ireland obviously have linked up with Kevin Marie in England as well.
Yeah.
So obviously there is goals and aspirations for you to obviously fight in England and other cards. So
yeah.
I guess the opportunities are now going to be more and more common for you to maybe go over to Manchester. Like you could be going over to the United game on a Sunday and fighting a Saturday night,
Yeah, you couldn't get a better weekend than that, could you?
You definitely couldn't. And if they pay the trip and they pay for your ticket as well, you're a winner.
That's my ideal weekend. That would be, it'd be class to get out over in England. I'd love that, and kind of put you into the English fight fans as well, and put you kind of onto their radar. Do you know what I mean? And put yourself out there as well. Like instead of just boxing in Ireland, like it'd be class to get out in England as well, and kind of like get people to know you over there. Like
definitely is. And obviously, I know you're a massive Man United fan, and I think the last couple of weeks, I think as you said the last Saturday, that I seen you, obviously you're at West Ham away, and I think you were at another game away.
Wolves, yeah.
You seem to go to the away games, which you get more of an atmosphere at. So obviously you can imagine, and you're an adrenaline junkie, you want to have the songs and the jokes and the laughs are better away games than they are Old Trafford.
Yeah, definitely. I love the away games now. I've started to go to a good few this season on that Class now. Hopefully I'll get a few more in before Christmas. Might try to go to Leicester away now in 2 weeks, but all that Class, I'll probably be over in Old Trafford for a few of the matches as well, but I just love going to the matches, that Class.
Definitely. As I said, and what do you think? Obviously, Ronaldo went back at United. Would you have been old enough the last time he was there? Remembering?
I was only about 8 or 9, but I used to go over still, and I remember him well. I idolized him growing up. You know what I mean? It was class, but it's class having him back. It just brings the buzz back, doesn't it? Like as years ago and stuff like that, and it's mad. It still doesn't feel real that he actually signed for United, and he's playing. He got player of the month actually. Seen that earlier. So
five goals already.
Yeah, like he's just a machine, like he is, and hopefully he win us the league this year. I can't see it happening.
You never know. You have to set
You
the bar
never know,
high.
yeah. Yeah, you
Aim
never
for
know,
first
yeah.
before it becomes impossible.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way to go.
And who, I wanted to ask you to start the interview, who would you, obviously, being a United fan and obviously everything else, but who would your sort of idols you would have looked up to in boxing at the start of your career?
I don't know. Like I love Mayweather. Like I don't fight. Like but I love watching Mayweather. He's class to watch, isn't he? Like he just makes it look so easy. Probably Mayweather. Yeah, he would have been the one I would have been watching when I was a kid and stuff like that. I remember one of my first fights I remember watching. I think it was him and Ricky Hatton. When he knocked him out, and I think it was the 11th round or something. That was one of the first fights I remember actually fully watching. Do you know what I mean?
I remember watching that back recently, and there was actually there was something happened in the fight with Hatton, and then Hatton sort of, I think the referee was told him off. I think it was the ref was told him off, and then it changed the whole concept of the fight. He wouldn't let him fight in close. I think it was a Joe Cortez.
Around his tactics,
yeah. But obviously,
that was.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, what are you going to say, Steve? I think that was one of the first fights I fully remember watching from start to finish. You know what I mean? I think I would have been about 8 or 9 at the time. I think it was about 2008 it was on. So that was one of my first memories of boxing.
And sort of growing, did you sort of try and implement the style off Mayweather, or
no, definitely not.
Is that tough to implement a style from anybody?
Yeah, it's
too
hard to emulate his style.
But I guess, for some amateur boxers and things like that, they always look to someone, obviously like football, somebody looks for a team to follow and they go, who won the Premier League last year, we'll support them. You look to the people that's the most famous, they sort of implement a style off them. But what a person they sort of look at and hone your career off. If you can learn 10% of what Mayweather can do, you could be a world champion.
Yeah, of course. Like he's a good person to look up to, isn't he? But I think when I was starting boxing, like kind of the likes of Phil Sutcliffe Jr., like he was winning elites and stuff like that. So we would have seen him training in the club every day and kind of look up to him. Do you know what I mean? So we would have seen him and he was doing well, and then he turned over pro and he was doing well. So kind of he was the person in the boxing club that everyone used to kind of look up to as a kid growing up and say, "I would like to be like him."
Definitely, and it's obviously it's good to have role models in the gym.
Exactly.
They look up to you and
pushes everyone on.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
So I've sort of got to the end of the questions I sort of had for you. As I always like to do with everybody is give you the opportunity to thank sponsors. I know you've already thanked one throughout the interview, but obviously sponsors play such a vital part. You couldn't be a pro boxer if you didn't have sponsors.
No.
I'm going to apologize for you. I'm going to apologize for you in advance if you do leave anybody out, because you get put under the pressure. None of these are pre-set questions to you at the start. So if you leave anybody out, it's my fault.
Yeah. Right, so I just want to thank Gym Nutrition. They look after me nutrition and my meals. They help me a lot. Like then I want to thank Ross Brown Barber Club. I want to thank Suds and Buds. And I want to thank Hydraulic and Pallet Truck Services. And then I want to thank Prestige Autos. They're my 5 sponsors and they've helped me out a lot. So I just want to say thanks to every single one of them, because they really did help me out in my debut and gave me great support.
Fantastic. And obviously if there's anybody else that wants to get involved in sponsoring, you know how to get in touch with you. And
so they can get in touch with me, Cian Doyle 1112 on Instagram, or they can email me ciandoyle653@gmail.com.
Fantastic. Okay, and obviously it's been lovely catching up with you. Obviously I know we met you for the first time last week at Celtic Class 12, but obviously it's been great to hear a bit more of your story. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not going to be too long before you have some more fight news. I'm sure we'll catch up with you at some stage in the future.
Definitely, Stephen. Thanks very much for having me on. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. I'll speak to you soon. All right, cheers. Take care.
Yeah, definitely, Stephen. Thanks a lot, mate.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.